Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into the surprisingly complex world of simplicity. Specifically, we're focusing on a timepiece that kind of embodies this paradox beautifully. We've got an insightful review of the Sinn 556i, and our mission, really, is to peel back the layers, extract the most important nuggets, and truly understand what makes this seemingly straightforward watch a real standout. Because, on the surface, a black dial watch might seem like the most basic thing imaginable, right? But as our source puts it, and I think this is spot on, simplicity is often the easiest design element to mess up. It's a weird paradox. So we're going to explore how the Sinn 556i, how it navigates this challenge and offers something genuinely compelling.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how a brand like Sinn, founded in Frankfurt, Germany way back in 1961 by a German flight instructor, how they've sort of quietly built this amazing reputation. Really well thought out watches, reasonably priced too. And unlike some brands, maybe chasing the latest hype, Sinn's stayed true. Our source even suggests its lack of overhype is also one of the brand's strengths. So this deep dive should really illuminate why that kind of understated approach, far from being a weakness, actually makes it quite unique.
Okay, so let's dive into that core idea then. Simplicity. The review notes that, a no-nonsense black dial watch is, quote, a dime a dozen. And yet this Sinn 556i compels. So what's the secret sauce? How does it achieve this, elegant simplicity without falling into those common traps, the ones that make other watches feel, basic or just cluttered?
That's a great question. What really separates intentional simplicity from just being plain? Lots of brands stumble here. Our source points out common problems like too much unnecessary text and branding all over the dial, or maybe a date window that just breaks up the dial's overall harmony because it's awkwardly placed or the wrong color. The Sinn 556i, though, it embraces this really clear minimalist design ethos. It's very much everything you need and nothing you don't. And it's not just about taking stuff away. It's making sure every single detail that is there, like the font, the marker size, it all serves a purpose, visual clarity.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting for me. Sinn obviously has these aeronautical roots. I mean, they started making cockpit instruments, right? But the 556 is described as one of their least explicitly pilot watch-inspired collections. Yet it still manages to tie its design back to cockpit clocks through its absolute focus on staunch legibility. So it's not really a pilot watch per se, but it clearly benefits from that whole heritage. How does that actually play out for the person wearing it?
Well, if you connect that to the bigger picture, this focus, this real dedication to sparseness and legibility, it's not just looks. It results in a piece that you can genuinely wear just about anywhere and with just about anything. Think about that. Casual weekend, formal dinner, it just works. And then you add in the impressive 200 meters of water resistance. You don't need to baby this watch. And for those of you listening who, maybe like the reviewer, sometimes get that choice paralysis looking at your watch box, this is presented as a huge win. It's one of those rare watches you just don't have to think much about. You just slap it on your wrist and it feels right. It works.
Okay, so we've talked philosophy, the idea behind Sinn's simplicity. But how does that translate into the physical experience? Wearing it. Let's zoom in on the case and the bracelet. This is where those design choices really come alive, on the wrist. Our source really liked the 38.5 millimeter diameter, calling it their personal watch size sweet spot. Why is that particular size so important?
Yeah, that 38.5 millimeter, it's a crucial detail for wearability, especially if you prefer watches that aren't, huge and bulky. It really seems to hit that sweet spot for a lot of different wrist sizes. Now, the profile is 11 millimeters thick. Some might think that sounds a bit chunky, but it's actually pretty reasonable when you consider its capabilities. We're talking that 200 meters of water resistance plus a proper screw-down crown. That crown screws right into the case, improves water resistance massively, protects the movement, very important. The crown and its guards are noted as being somewhat pronounced, a bit prominent maybe. So the advice to try on this piece before you spend your hard-earned cash is probably quite sensible. Just make sure it feels right for you.
Okay. And what about the finishing, those maybe more subtle design choices that affect how it looks, how practical it is day to day?
Well, one detail the review is really drawn to is the satin finished steel case. So it's not that high polish mirror finish, it's more brushed, kind of matte. And this is a huge practical advantage, a big pro, because it helps minimize the appearance of scratches from just wearing it. It fits perfectly with that whole sporty utility vibe. It means the watch won't look beat up after a week. And the drilled lugs, that's another specific feature, 20 millimeter width between them. Those are the little holes drilled right through the lugs where the strap attaches. Makes chaining straps incredibly easy. No scratching the case. It's a small thing, but adds so much versatility. And it does make the watch feel a bit reminiscent of vintage field watches, especially if you put on a canvas or leather strap.
Right. Speaking of straps and pairing,
Yeah.
the review mentions a preference for the H-link bracelet. Notes how it flows really nicely, seamlessly from the case for that integrated bracelet look and feel. But the clasp got a specific mention, didn't it?
That's right. Yeah, the bracelet as a whole gets praise, but the clasp is acknowledged as maybe leaving a little to be desired.
Yeah.
Apparently, it scratches a bit easily, and it's a bit chunky, especially with that diver's extension piece, the bit that lets it fit over a wetsuit. But importantly, the overall look, the way the bracelet integrates with the watch head, is seen as being worth that bit of compromise on the clasp.
Hmm.
Which I think says a lot about the strength of the overall design, really. A minor clasp issue doesn't spoil the whole package.
Okay, let's really get into the dial now, because arguably, this is the most defining feature of the 556i's minimalism. Our source calls it sparse, streamlined, and to the point. What specific choices, what deliberate decisions make this dial so effective, especially when so many dials feel, busy?
Yeah, the review really appreciates that Sinn used only the bare essentials in terms of any text or script on the dial. It's incredibly restrained. You literally just get the Sinn logo below 12, the word automatic indicating it's automatic, obviously above 6 o'clock, and then tiny made in Germany text right at the bottom edge.
Yeah.
That's it. This design specifically avoids all those extra lines of text or symbols cluttering up a dial, which, as the reviewer points out, can be a real pet peeve for watch people. It's just pure. Every element has earned its place there.
And what's fascinating, too, is the date window. That's often a real point of contention, isn't it? So many watches kind of stumble there. They break the symmetry or just interrupt the flow. How does the 556 Stuxi handle that potential issue?
Well, the date window is at 3 o'clock, and the key thing is it's thankfully color matched to the dial. This gets highlighted as a really significant detail because a contrasting date window, like a white square on a black dial, can often make a watch just look cheap or like an afterthought. By matching the background color, Sinn makes sure that date window just blends right in. It maintains the dial's harmony, and apparently even the font used for the date numbers has this sort of mid-century modern flair, which again, it just ties back into the brand's history and that commitment to thoughtful design choices.
Okay, and the actual finish of the dial itself. Because I know Sinn has done a few different versions of the 556 over the years, different dial treatments.
They have, yeah. There have been other 556 models, like a limited edition with a cool red gradient dial, and I think a sunray blue one too. But the review pretty definitively declares the glossy black dial of this model is the winner. It has this slight sheen. It's not totally flat matte, and especially when you see it paired with the satinized finish of the case, just looks fantastic. It adds just a little touch of elegance, a bit of depth, maybe, that a fully matte finish might lack. And it's different from a sunray dial, too, which plays with light more dramatically. It's just a really nicely judged, nuanced choice that works really well for daily wear.
Right. And finally, on the dial, the hour markers and hands. Crucial for that legibility we keep mentioning.
Absolutely. So instead of having applied indices, those little metal markers stuck onto the dial, of a 556i uses rectangular hour markers that are flat and luminous. So they glow in the dark, obviously, for low light visibility. And keeping them flat just reinforces that minimal elegance, keeps the dial clean, uncluttered. They pair really nicely with the fine minutes track around the edge and these bold, luminous sword hands. Very clear, very easy to read at just a quick glance. And the whole thing is protected by sapphire crystal, super scratch resistant, which has a double AR coating. That's anti-reflective coating on both sides. Helps cut down glare significantly and really lets that beautiful glossy black dial pop under different lights.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Let's talk about what powers this piece. That automatic script on the dial gave us a clue, confirms the mechanical automatic movement inside. Can you tell us a bit more about the engine under the hood?
That's right. It's powered by the Swiss-made Sellita SW200-1 automatic movement. Now, this is a well-known quantity in the watch world. It's a 26-joule movement. Those joules are tiny synthetic rubies acting as bearings, reducing friction, helping with accuracy and lifespan. It beats at a 4 Hz frequency, which is 28,800 vibrations per hour. That gives you a nice, smooth sweep for the seconds hand and good timekeeping potential. And it has a 41-hour power reserve, so it'll keep running for almost 2 days if you take it off. But beyond the specs, the Sellita SW200-1 is just widely regarded as a robust, reliable, easily serviceable movement. Which means, if anything ever did go wrong down the line, finding parts or a watchmaker who knows it wouldn't be difficult. That reliability really fits Sinn's no-fuss approach perfectly. Makes it a great choice for a watch you'll wear every day. It's a true industry workhorse, really known for its dependability.
And for those of you listening who, like me, actually love to see the intricate mechanics working, not just know they're ticking away in there.
Yes. Well, a huge win for mechanical movement heads out there is the sapphire crystal exhibition style caseback.
Yeah.
So it's not just solid steel on the back. It's got a transparent window also made of that scratch-resistant sapphire, and it lets you directly watch it in action and admire all the mechanical inner workings. You can see the tiny gears, the springs, the rotor spinning. It really connects you to the traditional craftsmanship, the engineering inside. Adds a whole other layer of appreciation, I think.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. What does this all mean for you, the listener, maybe navigating that huge, often overwhelming market for sporty but still elegant black dial watches?
Well, if we boil it all down, the bottom line seems to be that the Sinn 556 it just nails the combination of high-impact simplicity with surprising tool-oriented specs. It's a really worthy contender, not because it's flashy or shouts the loudest, but because it's just incredibly well thought out and executed. It's described as versatile in nearly every sense of the word, from looking great on pretty much any strap you throw on it, apparently, to having those genuinely impressive water-resistant capabilities. It just adapts to almost any situation you can think of.
And crucially, value seems to be a big part of the equation here. It packs a punch in terms of value for price, coming in at, what was it, $1,380 on a strap, and $8,830 on that quick adjust bracelet. For what you're getting, design, build quality, Swiss movement that feels very competitive.
It really does. And while the review admits that, a one-and-done watch collection is largely a myth, because, let's face it, for most enthusiasts, one watch is never really enough. The Sinn 556 genuinely has the potential to do just that for those with self-restraint. If you could have just one watch, it's presented as a really exceptional option, whether you're maybe just beginning a more serious watch collection and want a rock-solid foundation, or maybe you're further along and looking to fill a gap with something that's truly no muss and definitely no fuss. It's that dependable, elegant workhorse, does its job brilliantly without needing to draw loads of attention.
Okay, so for our final thought for you to mull over today, the Sinn 556. Really masterfully demonstrates how limiting, how stripping away extraneous elements can actually amplify the core strengths. It's a real lesson in deliberate design. So think about this. What essential aspect of your own daily routine, maybe, or perhaps a personal project you're currently working on, could that benefit from a similar everything you need and nothing you don't kind of deep dive, stripping away all the unnecessary stuff to reveal its true utility, its true elegance?